Happy Friday, everybody. What is happening? It is your Uncle Weezy here with you to talk about UFC Louisville coming up this Saturday, coming up tomorrow. Live audience, live crowd, Louisville, Kentucky, headlined by Jared Cannonier, the killer gorilla, going up against Nasruddin Imavov, the Russian sniper. Really good main event here at 185 pounds. You got a 40-year-old in Jared Cannonier who is still fighting at the top of his game, going up against a 29-year-old Nasruddin Imavov, who's been very impressive in the UFC thus far. Really good main event, and there's a lot of really fun fights on this card. I've always said with Brady on Stat Diggers, it's great when the UFC tries. And while this isn't like the best, most like name heavy card that you could have for a live event, there's a lot of really compelling fights on this card. There's a lot of really talented fighters. I think that this is going to be a good one for the fans, and I think that there's going to be a lot of all action fights on this card. I've got a decent amount of action, but I'm going to complete the action after I'm done wrapping up this show with you guys here today. I think I've got like about 5 units in action right now, but that's probably going to get up closer to 10 by the end of the day today. And if you're on the Patreon, check it out. Look at the address right down there below that's scrolling. That's the Patreon. That's the Dub Club, where you can get access to my stats packages, all my tracked bets, all the fight write-ups that I do, and all my betting models. Not only the matchup stats that enumerate all these statistics that you just can't get out there for free on the web. It also has the betting models, which will actually put a number on plus EV, minus EV in terms of betting lines being translated into implied probabilities, benchmarks for the division, each fighter's comparison against those benchmark, and the combined comparison against the benchmarks for the division for each bet, and also for the prior performance of the fighters and the implied probability of the line. We match up all three of those things, compare those in order to actually put a number on these bets. So you're going to get access to my betting models as well for $25 a month, $15 a month from here on out. We'll get you access to the matchup stats, the fight write-ups, the tracked bets, the Discord, and all of the content that goes along with it. I did not do a full card breakdown on YouTube this week, but I did do one for my Patreon members, even the free Patreon members, even the people who just bothered to click on the Patreon page to see what it would take to support me. They're getting the content that I didn't put out for free on YouTube this week. And we've got 60 of you live hanging out in here to check out what's going on with this week's Greasy 4-leg parlay. Let's get right into it. Let's not mess around anymore here. And let's talk about leg number one. It's going to be the Charlie Radke, Carlos Prates, under 2.5 rounds at minus 175. Let me present and share my screen with you guys here. And I'll bring up my betting model that is available on the $25 tier of my Patreon. And we're going to look here at column C, which is the under 2.5 rounds. Now, we've only got 2 fights for Radke and 1 fight for Prates at the UFC level. But down here in rows 22 and 23 of the template, we could see that Charlie Radke's fights have finished under 2.5 rounds 5 of 9 times as a professional. But for Carlos Prates, it's 18 of 22. So well over 80% of Carlos Prates' fights in a 22-fight sample size are finishing under 2.5 rounds. This guy only needs 1. He is a sniper-like striker. He's super tall and long for the division. Everything that he throws from the left half of his body is meant to knock you out, meant to end your night. He's got a phenomenal straight left hand. He's got awesome head kicks from the left side. And he's also got great step-in knees, which he uses when his opponents get a little bit sloppy trying to close the distance against him. They can walk right into a knee that can end their night as well. So Prates is very, very dangerous on the feet. Charlie Radke is a high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who probably will be trying to take this fight to the ground. And if he does, we've seen Carlos Prates finished in 5 of his 6 professional losses. This is not a durable man. He's been knocked out a couple times. He's been submitted a couple of times. I forget whether it's 3 knockouts and 2 submit. Well, you know what? Let's check the stats, because your Uncle Weezy's Patreon has got access to all the stats. So Carlos Prates has been submitted 3 times and knocked out twice as a professional. So 5 of his 6 losses are inside the distance. Charlie Radke's got a phenomenal left hook that he can drop anybody with. And Carlos Prates' right hand is very lazy. He keeps it around his waist. So he might be prone to eat a big left hook from Charlie Radke, as well as being taken down and submitted. So either way, I see this fight finishing under 2.5 rounds. Minus 175 gives us the best line that we can get here. So let's go on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. This week is going to have the best version of this parlay, but this parlay will also be available on DraftKings Sportsbook as well. So we go to Radke Prates. We go to under 2.5 rounds at minus 175. That is leg number 1 of the parlay. Leg number 2 is Julian Marquez to win inside the distance. Now, everybody's on Marquez this week. I got my bet down at like minus 115. He was plus money for a while if you got on really early on the Marquez side. There's a lot of unknowns right now about Zach Reese. Zach Reese, let me get these numbers up here for you guys. Zach Reese's professional MMA career has lasted 11.1 minutes. And Julian Marquez has a 100% finish rate in 9 wins. So he is definitely a guy that can go out there and knock you out. He's a guy that can submit you on the ground. He's incredibly durable. So he has the ability to kind of weather that early storm if you are a front-loaded fighter, and then get you in the 2nd or 3rd round when you get tired trying to finish him. Marquez is just a lot more tested, you guys. I mean, this guy's been in there against, veterans like Sam Alvey, Alessio Di Chirico, good fighters like Marc-Andre Barrio, Phil Hawes, even Maki Pitolo and Sam Alvey are guys that have been around and are tough dudes. So Marquez has definitely seen a lot better competition than Zach Reese when you look at names like Cody Brundage, who he got finished by in the 1st round. And then you go before that, it's a guy off the Israeli regional scene in Eli Aronov, who put himself into an armbar, a 6-11 Tommy Britton, Aaron Phillips, who's an Alaska fighter, Shahriar Zolfagari, who's a Chicago guy who I believe was 0-0 going into that fight. So, yeah, Zach Reese is untested. He's unproven. And for a guy who's had 7 fights that have lasted a grand total of 11 minutes, we have to admit to ourselves that there's a lot of question marks as to how Zach Reese might perform in the 2nd and 3rd round of a fight. And another thing that we don't really have a question mark about is Julian Marquez's durability and toughness. So I think Marquez just 2nd or 3rd against the guy who's very front-loaded, a guy who might have a massive adrenaline dump in front of the live crowd here if this fight does get out of the 1st round. Massive nerves that are going to be going along with this performance as well, being only 7 fights into his professional mixed martial arts career, coming off of a 1st-round knockout loss to Cody Brundage. So, yeah, Julian Marquez to win inside the distance is going to be leg number 2 here. If we go to Bet Rivers Sportsbook, and we find the Marquez fight, which we're going to have to go down here to show more. And we're going to go to method. And we're going to get Marquez to win by finish at plus 112. And it's important here because I got him at minus 115 earlier in the week. And the finish prop was at plus 112 then. Now the line is moved to minus 143. And the finish prop is still just sitting there at plus 112. So there's a lot of value there, in my opinion. For a guy who has a 100% finish rate, and for his opponent in Reese, who's never been out of the 1st round as a professional. So, yeah, Marquez inside the distance at plus 112 is going to be leg number 2 of the parlay. Leg number 3 of the parlay, Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week this week is Bruno Ferreira. And then he's got, I'm taking his money line is around like minus 250-ish. But I'm taking him to win the only way that he's ever won as a professional, which is under 7.5 minutes. Bruno Ferreira, if we look at his stats on my stats package here, Bruno Ferreira is 11-1 as a professional. He's got 8 knockouts and 3 submissions. So all 11 of those wins come inside the distance, but 9 of those 11 wins are first round finishes. And the other 2 of those wins are finishes in the first minute of round number 2. Ferreira is a very explosive athlete. He's kind of undersized for the division, but he's explosive. He's fast. He's light on his feet. He's constantly switching stances, and he has power in everything that he throws from both sides of his body. He is younger than Dustin Stoltzfus. He is much faster than Dustin. He's way more explosive than Dustin. And for the people who are saying that, like that maybe Dustin doesn't get finished here because he went into round number 3 with Meerschaert, round number 3 with Vieira, watch those fights. Vieira was terrified of getting tired and did nothing for the first 2 rounds. Gerald Meerschaert's not knocking out anybody, but this guy Ferreira's got legitimate power in both hands, and he's constantly switching stances, and his ground game is actually very good. He's got a judo background. I believe he's a judo black belt. And he's got an underrated game. And Dustin Stoltzfus is somebody who just lacks the natural athletic ability that you need to have at this level in order to thrive. Ferreira is the exact opposite. So I'm taking Ferreira to shave ass here, do it inside the distance, and do it the way he's always done it in all 11 of his wins. And that's just to win in under 1.5 rounds. So in order to get that bet on the parlay, everybody here on Bet Rivers, Ferreira Stoltzfus, we go to fight parlays there. And then we come down here to Bruno Ferreira to win and under 1.5 rounds. Yes, plus 102. So that brings our parlay up to plus 577. So let's find a leg that's very likely to cash, and that's very likely to let us maybe hedge out. If the first 3 legs of this cash, we can take the opposite side of leg number 4 on another gambling site and lock in a nice win for ourselves. And in order to do that, I'm going to give you guys the over 1.5 rounds for Jared Cannonier versus Nasruddin Imavov in the main event. So first, let's look at the stats package here for my over-under betting model for 5-round fights in the middleweight division. And at minus 590, you can see that Jared Cannonier's fights have went over 1.5 rounds 4 or 5 times in as a professional or in the UFC if they've been scheduled for 5 rounds, and both of Imavov's fights have. So it's an 85.71% implied probability. It's slightly plus on the template here, and 7.5 minutes. Imavov is a guy. Let me look here. Imavov is a guy who has only been submitted as a professional. He's never been knocked out. Jared Cannonier has been knocked out a couple times as a pro, but it was as a heavyweight, never as a middleweight. All of this guy's middleweight fights are going the distance for the most part. Let's see. It was the knockout against Brunson who got tired. But other than that, everybody else, all these fights are going to decision. But they are against very durable guys like Strickland, like Vittori, like Gastelum. So there could be a possibility for an early knockout here. But like I say, Imavov's never been knocked out, and he's been in there with some hard hitters like Shabazian and Buckley and Curtis and Delidze. So I believe in both of these guys' durability. I believe that in a 5-round fight, these guys are going to probably take a little bit to get going. So this is a nice fat line. So where if these first 3 legs cash, we can just take the under 1.5 rounds on another website and lock in a nice profit on this parlay. But this takes us to let's get the main event up here. Over 1.5 rounds, minus 590 brings us up to plus 692 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you were to put this parlay together on DraftKings Sportsbook, it's coming out to plus 639. So I'm definitely putting a half unit on this one this week at plus 692 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Much better numbers. But this exact parlay is also available on DraftKings as well. what's up with you guys in the chat. 95 of you hanging out live in here. Please check out the Patreon. That's where I'm going to be posting a lot of content going forward for the people who do support the work financially. YouTube's kind of a tough place to make any money these days, especially doing the kind of content that us MMA content creators do. So I'm going to be funneling the majority of my efforts right now into the show Stat Diggers with Brady, into the members only probability show on my Patreon, into my members only balls deep breakdowns on these fights. So if you check out my Patreon here, you'll see that I'm doing a lot of members only content for the people. And we've already got the Saudi Arabia stats out, and I'm doing the UFC 303 stats as we speak. And then this is the balls deep breakdown of that we did here. You can see 2 hours and 12 minutes of content here that I did for the Patreon people, because they're the ones that support me. We've got the underdog pick of the week in here. We've got Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. And then also we've got the UFC Louisville members only stream for probability, where we broke down all the plus EV bets on the card, me and DFS by the numbers, another feature of the $25 tier of the Patreon. So yeah, check me out on the Patreon. Best way to support my work. If you don't want to do that, leave me a comment down below. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That helps a little bit as well, but you can really help me out by joining up on the Patreon. That's the way to support the work. But let me get these stats back up here on the screen for you guys, and then we can talk to everybody that's come into the room. My guy Olajuwon Dream, the fighting pride of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, stand up. Oh, he says my guy Olajuwon, saying Friday's a perfect day to get greasy. And we're getting pretty greasy here today, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a plus 692 on this week's Greasy 4-leg parlay. Looking forward to cashing this one. We got Gus B in the room saying, "Oi, get the maple syrup ready for these flapjacks." My man, Gus, thank you for hanging out here, dude. We got Justin Bryan saying, "Oi, let's go. Let's go, Justin." Colby Saul in the room saying, "Let's go, Uncle Weezy." We got XX saying, "Let's go, Weasel Stein." What is up, XX? We got Helder Sturari saying, "Hey, Uncle, no more just a tip for us Brazilians." Like I said, dude, I did do it, and I'm going to be doing it on YouTube. I'm going to be doing a shortened version of just a tip for you guys, like something like probably 45 minutes, because I yap for entirely too long there. And doing a pre-recorded shortened version of just a tip would probably be better for my YouTube channel in terms of views and in terms of revenue, rather than the 2.5 hour long monster one that I've been doing lately. So I've been putting that for the Patreon members, and going forward, I will be posting, shortened versions of just the tip for you guys for free on YouTube, so that you guys continue to come to the channel. But this week, I wanted to just show my Patreon people, the people who support me, some love and do the content just for them. We got Steven Edwards in the room saying, "Oi, what is up, Steven?" We've got Small But Big in the room saying, "Grease me up and throw me in the pool." We got almost plus 700 this week. I think that's greasy enough, man. Let's go. We got Say Oi for your Brazilian fans, says Helder. You got it, man. You know we're always doing that. We got my guy Jacksonville Zoe in the room saying, "What is up, Weezy? I hope you're doing well." All is well, Jacksonville Zoe. We got Pub Sports Radio very own Jacksonville Zoe there. Good to see you hanging out, brother. Hope all is well with you down there in Jacksonville, Florida. We got Rook Johnson in the room saying, "Weezy, quite frankly, you are the balls." I don't know if that's actually good or bad, but either way, Rook Johnson, I appreciate you being in the room, man. We've got Benino saying, "Let's get this bread, Unc. This weekend determines my re-up." Let's go, man. Let's go, dude. We've got Mark Frost in the room with the pink brain. What is up, Mark Frost? We've got Olajuwon Dream saying, "I got a feeling we're going to get a decent amount of finishes after last week." Well, if we don't, this parlay has no chance of hitting, because I need a finish in the Radke Prates fight. I need a finish in the Marquez Reese fight, and I need a finish in the Bruno Ferreira Dustin Stoltzfus fight. So yeah, man, plus 692. It's kind of wide, but if we don't get violence here, this thing is not cashing this week. Quite a few fights are favored to end inside the distance this week, and as they should. I mean, like, some of these guys are real killers with 100% finish rates. Reese, Marquez is like that. Bruno Ferreira's got a 100% finish rate. Eduardo Mora and Denise Gomez are finishers. There's a lot of finishers on this card. That's some new bling. Weezy's up in smoke tour. No, man, this is something I've always had. My girlfriend got that for me like 17 years ago. We got Zach Johnson in the room saying, "What is up, Weezy? Good to see Zach in here." We got Mushroom MMA saying, "What's up, Unc? Sneak watching at work. Smash the like. Appreciate you, Mushroom." We got Olajuwon Dream in the room saying, "Why did Mike Chandler just tweet a picture of 22 Jump Street? What the fuck?" I have no clue, dude. But I mean, I don't think that I don't think that Connor's showing up, you guys. I just put together the stats for that fight. Let me see if I got it for you guys here. Yeah, this is I'm putting together the stats package here, and yeah, I just did the McGregor Chandler fight. We got all the stats up there, but yeah, I don't think it's happening. But at least now I got McGregor and Chandler in the database because they both haven't fought in a minute. And I've got them set up and formatted for my new database now. So that's all good. But yeah, my Patreon members will be looking for the UFC 302 stats either later tonight or early tomorrow. And we got Saudi Arabia out to you yesterday. Let's see here. We got my guy Lou Betcha in the room saying, "Oi, what is up, Lou?" We got Olajuwon Dream in the room saying 22 days till the fight. Never mind. We got Joshua Frick in the room saying, "What's up, Weezy? Thanks for the help this week." Yeah, dude, you got it, man. Always good to see Joshua Frick hanging out in here. We got Lou saying, we got the Charlie Radke, Phil Teets, Nutella Fella, 4th race tomorrow for Generational Wealth is the parlay of the week that Lou bet you as. I know Lou went with a shoey bet on the Radke fight with our guy Dan Levy. So we'll see how that works out for him. Radke was my dog of the week, but I think that there are less fat money line dogs that have a better chance of winning than Radke. But I mean, I think that at plus 195, plus 200, man, and Radke's inside the distance numbers are really tempting. So I might even sprinkle some Radke inside the distance at plus 400 or better because Prates has been finishing 5 or 6 losses, and it's fun to watch Chandler's descent into madness. Yeah, he's waiting for Conor McGregor to show up for a fight. It's like waiting for Guffman. It's never going to happen. Friend of Weezy's, Cody Brundage. Yes, sir, man. Cody Brundage in the house. Always good to see Cody fighting. And yeah, he's the one who knocked out Zach Reese in his last fight. For real, Lou Betcha. Yes, sir. Marquez bangs porn stars. Endurance is on point. If that's the case, then he's always had good conditioning. So maybe that's part of the reason that the conditioning has always been there for Marquez. Mark said, Lou been watching some serious tape, and Lou is a true professional without question. We got Call Me Husker in the room saying, "Oh, what is up, dude?" We got Lou saying, "Can never watch enough tape from Captain Stabbin." Yes, sir. Great stuff. Gus B saying, "Lou, I thought you'd be more of a bang bus guy. Lou, have your neighbors forgiven you?" I had Ferreira and Jacoby parlay, but got scared off of it. Too much variance to follow through. Was fading Stoltz and Reyes. Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm fading Stoltzfus. I think Ferreira just gets him out of there early. I think anybody that really just kind of goes after Dustin, especially with big strikes like Ferreira has, is going to be able to finish him. And Lou Betcha is still avoiding the neighbors. That's for sure. I really don't want to move either. If Rosas loses, I'm going to have to. I was dying laughing, but you got me in trouble. And we got my guy Broke D-Gen in the room saying, "I'm here to take a sip of the Wheeze Juice Booty." What is up, my man Broke D-Gen? Another parlay or another Patreon member in the house. Appreciate you, Broke D-Gen. We've got Olajuwon Dream saying, "I'm liking this greasy 4-legger. Really like last week's as well." I liked last week's as well. We hit 2 out of 4 legs, but there was just no violence, man. Nico Price Morono not finishing was kind of shocking to me. And also I had the Zaleski dos Santos, Randy Brown fight finishing, and Zaleski dos Santos is on his back with like 30 seconds into the second round. Rear naked choke is almost all the way in. Thought we were going to cash that one too, man. Oh, wow. And he got plus 731 on Bet365. Dude, I've got to get a Bet365 account, man. Brady keeps telling me that the props over there are nuts. And I got to get somebody to sponsor these shows, man. Like, fuck, dude. I mean, I lost my Pub Sports Radio gig. YouTube doesn't pay dick. I need sponsors, sports books. Holler at your Uncle Weezy. I'll show your shit. Believe me, I'm desperate. We got TH saying, thanks, Weezy. What's up, TH? We got Radislav Kolev in the room saying, oi, keep up the good work. Thank you, Radislav. Appreciate you, man. Olajuwon Dream saying, Marquez inside the distance is plus 115. Ferreira and under 1.5 is plus 105. And Cannonier, Imavov over 1.5 minus 500 are the differences. Damn, dude. That is much better than what we're getting here at plus. Well, not much better. 692 is good. But you said it was plus 731. So that is noticeably better. And we got Josh Max in the room saying, thanks for all the good work, brother. And oh, what is up, Josh? We got Gus saying, that's $25 I spend every week. Let's get it, man. And it's every month, by the way. But it's not $25 a week for the Patreon. $25 a month. But if you're talking about putting $25 on the Greasy four-legger, yes, that month. There you go. There you go, man. Let's go Katona, says Olajuwon Dream. Katona, the fighting pride of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. So, yes, I would like to bet on Katona, but minus 700 money line and minus 155 decision is just unbettable. And I agree. I mean, like, I'd almost put Katona in the Greasy four-legger by decision, but it's not worth it. I mean, like, what if he gets a finish? Who knows what Jesse Butler is going to look like at 135. So I'm not touching it. The real TP in the room saying, hit the like button like Nico did Morono. Nico got me a really good, some really good money in DraftKings. I had him in my cash lineup last week in DraftKings, placed 5th in the Ironman as a result of that lineup. Really good stuff. So, yeah, definitely. I like Nico Price getting the job done last week. We got Abdi saying, love the parlay, made it a bit juicy at plus 1,039 with Jared money line and the over 1.5. Yeah, okay, so Jared and over 1.5. I like that. And then the Bruno money line and the under 2.5. I like that. Yeah, because I bet the Bruno money line and the under 1.5. But either way, man, that's that when you add Jared in there and the over 1.5, that makes it plus 1,039 there. We got Jonathan Finazzo in the room saying, Uncle Weezy in the building. What is up, John? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got my guy, the Fins Chats, in here saying, smoking that Weezy pack. I've been seeing you posting quite a bit on Twitter. Check out the Fins Chats on Twitter. Good to see you hanging out in here, man. We got D'Amato's scorecard saying, I took shots on Radke by KO and by sub. Underdog round robin on this card, 14 fights, lots of dog potential. Yeah, dude, there's a lot going on this card. So I'm going to finish up all my tracked action here after I'm done with you guys today. 116 of you live hanging out with us here. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, leave me a comment, and please consider joining the Patreon and contributing to all the work that I do here. Not in the AM, bro, saying Marquez had a chance with Miley Cyrus and blew it. Yeah, but she wanted him to shave letters into his chest, and then she might still have turned him down. So I think Julian made the right move. I support Julian in this endeavor that he had, trying to get it, maybe coming up a little bit short, but not playing like he's desperate. Because I'm sure Julian does very well with the ladies without having to chase after Miley Cyrus. We got Olajuwon Dream saying, Randy broke his arm in the first minute of that fight, and I still couldn't get a fucking finish. God damn it, man. I wound up down 0.97 units last week, just under 1 unit, and I had 4 violence bets that all crashed and burned. I mean, if one of those violence bets comes through, I even have an up week, and I'm fine with an up week, but like, my God, the non-violence last week was shocking. I think it was his arm. He broke something anyway. He broke his toe, says Rim Dog. We got Pickle Kush saying, thanks, Weez. Good luck, man. And the Finns chats is saying Mora sub, Ryan sub parlay could feed families. Yeah, that's an interesting one because I like Ryan by sub because Puger Tomar's ground game has looked terrible from what we've seen on tape. And Hayani is a black belt, so there's a possibility that she could get a submission there. And then Mora's ground game is nasty, dude, so nasty. And oh, dude, my dumbass got drunk and didn't hedge on my big 3-leg parlay of Hafez, Dawson, and Morono. That's a bummer, dude. Yeah, Morono couldn't pull it off, man. Unbelievable. And Miley Cyrus, not the baddest, but that was a fumble, in my opinion. Would have done his career wonders. It probably would have if she would have like went out with him, but she still was like asking something that I think he shouldn't have done. Let's see. Had they under as well, worst case scenario was price decision, and I knew that, and I didn't hedge. Lesson learned. God damn it, dude. That's fucked up. I hate when I do that, dude. I hate when I do that. I hit the Holland fight to end by sub plus 300, so I felt like I won the event last week. Yeah, dude, we gave out on probability last week, Holland by sub at plus 280, and I didn't bet it myself, and I think that was my biggest regret of the card. I knew Holland by sub was going to be so live, and I knew that anything better than plus 200 was a bet that I should have made, and I did not get it. But Olajuwon Dream saying he was happy with Islam sub round 5 plus 2,200. That is one hell of a hit. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging out. If you want to support the work, check out the patreon.com/UncleWeezy or check me out on Dub Club. The probability product has the matchup stats, the individual fighter UFC stats, everything imaginable. For both fighters, the matchup stats, so you can see them side by side, the over-under betting model, the prop betting model, everything imaginable here. Supports the work. All the fight write-ups, which you see here, which are just in-depth write-ups of every single fight on the card. It's all available, $25 a month, a great way to support the work. Thank you for hanging out. Let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks for UFC Louisville, and we'll see you next week for UFC Vegas 93. Definitely some spots that are already sticking out. Might have some big bets on that card. But good luck to all of you guys. God bless each and every one of you guys, and we will see you for the fights tomorrow and for Stat Diggers on DFS by the Numbers YouTube channel on Sunday evening. Good day, everyone.